Biathlon World Cup is brought to you by Warsteiner, partner in the Eurosport team.
Good morning, welcome to a lovely day in the Hольменколлен for the relays, men's and women's. I'm David Goldstrom together with the Eurosport Nordic team. Thanks for choosing to join us. Well, just in about 40 minutes from now, we'll be going live on the men's relay. So we've got a little time now to look back at the crucial action in this morning's women's event. That took place while hopefully you've enjoyed a cracking downhill at Val d'Isère. But here this morning, a little bigger crowd have made their way up to join us for this second relay of the season. It's really chilly out there, -15, not only the competitors but also the organisers and the spectators keeping themselves as warm as they can. A little bit of wind, but on the range it's quite well protected. So it's 4 by 7.5 kilometres, and the teams here, there are 16 of them that are going to set out and challenge for this. The big favourites, of course, will be Germany and Russia. Germany, who won the relay here in Oslo last year. Russia, who picked up the action last weekend in Östersund, winning the opening relay of the year. So this is the journey around the Hольmenkollen hill and out into the countryside. As I said, a really lovely morning. The course is supposed to be a third flat, a third climb and a third descent. It's pretty near that actually, and as you can see there, -11. Well, we make it a little bit chillier than that, and the wind is definitely picking up. And there's the centrepiece that'll be surrounded in March, the Hольmenkollen hill, and the order of the teams. Norway and France. Norway, remember, in good shape, good form. Norwegians in Östersund were third behind Russia and Germany. It was Russia, Germany, Normandy, Finland in fourth place ahead of France and China, with two very good biathletes in their quartet. So 2 ranks, and the first 100 metres in lane with Margaret Andreasen running the anti leg for Norway. She's 9th individually in the World Cup rankings. You're looking there at the red bib there, Šelbrejd, Claudel, Emmanuel Claret, Veronique Claudel and Brian Corinne Nielgray, the quartet for France. But the Russians will be the quartet really to try and beat. Russians, Ukrainians wearing number 3. There's a change in their team there. Nima Lemish has come in there for Elena Petrova. No particular reason. It only happened about an hour ago, that change. But here are the favourites, or very quickly you saw Olga Mельник there, who's going to run off. Natalie Skinner. Stacey Woolley goes second for the United States, the only American to be in the World Cup points this season. Belarus, 6th in the World Championships. They're wearing bib number 6 today. Finland, not a bad performance, finishing 4th in Östersund. Germany, well, they're the great rivals. Uschi Dizl, remember, who's had 2 victories here in 72 hours in the 7.5 individual sprint and yesterday's 10-kilometre pursuit. But hoping to go away, if she can, with 3 medals. Bells of the Hольmenkollen Chapel ringing out as the athletes get underway. And good to see a few spectators getting up here. I think everybody was Christmas shopping yesterday. You drop down into the stadium when you come back in to shoot, but it's a climb out. Each of these competitors on this first of 4 rotations will shoot twice. And already going up the hill, team number 8, Germany with Norway. That's Anna and Šelbrejd side by side with Uschi Dizl. Right at the back, the Japanese amongst the back markers. But good to see a bit of sun. We didn't have any on Thursday. It was horrible and misty. Yesterday, just overcast and cold. Today, a little bit more cheerful. So leading the pack, it's Germany. Long way to go. 4 rotations, 8 rounds of shooting. And in second place, it's the Ukraine, followed by Norway. Oh, and that's Natalie Skinner of the United States getting tangled up there right at the back with the Czech Republic's Katarina Losmanova. We'll still want to come into the range. We'll take a short break now. Well, coming into the stadium now, Uschi Dizl for the second time. Clean at the first visit to the range. This time, though, she's standing up. And in the relay, just to remind you, they load 5 bullets from the magazine into the rifle, but there are 3 extra bullets in the dish down to their right, usually, if they're right-handed. And if they miss a shot, they can dip into those 3 bullets. So technically they have 8 opportunities to knock out 5 targets. But if they miss all 8 or any of the 8, then it's an extra penalty loop. But Dizl going well. That's 10 out of 10. Russia, Mельник. Looking at the Norwegian now, and Šelbrejd. Also started with a clean sheet. She's having a problem there, dipping into the extra bullets there. That's the Russian Mельник we've switched to. And she's got 5 out of 5, but lost time there on Uschi Dizl of Germany, building her advantage. And both Norway and Russia, no penalty loops, but lost time there. Clock ticking away, coming up to 20 seconds. And Russia 15.5 seconds to make up there. Norway will be in third place, 26 seconds. So that's, in terms of missed shots, that's almost worth a missed shot each. So that's the little cushion that Uschi Dizl has now as she gets on her way into the woods. The next time she comes round, she'll be handing over to her teammate. Second to go for Germany will be Simone Gryner Pettermann, the German who's leading the overall World Cup rankings. It's China through there in 4th place. They've got the very useful Shumei Yu on the first head. Winner of the summer biathlon, second in Östersund over 15 kilometers. Seriously useful biathlete. And they've slightly changed around, the Chinese. They've got Yingfeng Liu on the third leg. That might give them a better overall performance than they had last week in Östersund, where they finished in 6th place. But Mельnik has really got to try and close up if she can. Passing now 7th in World Cup rankings. And here's the young woman in 3rd place, Anne Šelbrejd. 10 out of 10 on the range. Had to pick some extra bullets. Those extra 3 bullets useful, but didn't ski any penalty loops. But you have to accept that shooting extra bullets does in itself take time. There's Shumei Yu going through. 16, I should say. We're in bib number 9, that's Poland, that's Agata Suska. Uschi Dizl getting through the last of the climb here. It's a really undulating course, working pretty well the whole way through. But looking strong and hoping that she can reverse the result in Sweden. Russia won there by some 58 seconds. And it was the Russian shooting which really helped to gain the day there. Mельnik was clean. 10 out of 10 on that day as well. But it was 15 seconds, just looking around for the Norwegian who's in 3rd place. She's made a second or two perhaps. And waiting now for Anne Šelbrejd. Mельnik, junior world sprint champion. Norway go through in third place. Should be China. Yu, it is, tall, just 19 years of age, only been in the sport for, well, barely 2 years. Here's Dizl, waiting to hand over to Simone Gryner Peterman. And away the Germans go. Well, remember, they had 15 seconds advantage when Ushi left the shooting range when we last saw them. So Russia's Olga Mельник, just in the changeover zone there. Yes, she's away. I was going to say, I was thinking we were just about going to miss her, but Galina Kuklewa, who's very quick at the sprint. Kuklewa, the fourth best biathlete. They've really got a quartet of talent here, the Russians. Volkova, who skied in Sweden, is out, but Tallanova is in, and that's a useful replacement. Norway, Annette Sikkeland. And there's Yu handing on to the next of the Chinese, to Rivo Sun. But already this relay shaping up, as the form book suggested, to be a contest between Germany and Russia. Although the Norwegians could get into this, providing they keep skiing fast. They've got their two strong skiers on the last legs. 13, that's Republic going away. Also Slovakia, Sweden. Sweden now, they could improve here on this next leg, because Sweden have asked Magdalena Forsberg-Wallin to take the second leg, and she's second currently in the overall World Cup rankings. So Germany and Kukleva's really closed up. Just shaking their arms, getting the blood down into the fingers there, so you get as much feeling as they can on the trigger finger. So Russia closest to you, Germany just a bit beyond, and we're on Simone Gryner Peterman. Really has been in sparkling form this season. Kuklewa digs in for an extra bullet. Meanwhile, Simone Gryner Peterman gets out, and judging by the way Kuklewa caught up on the first couple of thousand meters into the range, I wouldn't be surprised to see her get pretty quickly on the tail of Simone. Simone, who won the first of the pursuits, but she's been mighty consistent. Three times on the podium already, the German. Now this is Magdalena Wallin, former cross-country skier, but a very useful recruit to this sport. And we're looking now at Annette Sikkeland for Norway. So the two Scandinavian rivals side by side in the range. So Norway get out, but look how quick Magdalena Wallin is. And this will be a private battle going on. And who knows, if the two of them are fighting together, perhaps they will close the gap. But you can see there, between first and second, only 3.7 seconds. But to the third, Norway, and to the fourth, best part of a minute. China still with a shot missing in their challenge. French represented on the second leg by Claudel. And a lot of extra bullets being taken. There's no harm in that. That's the rule of the game. But any one of those extra bullets, you can pretty well say, is minimum 10 seconds given away. the action of taking it out of the tray, loading it in by hand, resettling, sighting up on target and squeezing it away. So here's Kuklewa coming in. Kuklewa handing on, having very successfully completed her 2 rounds. Kuklewa handing on to Nadezhda Tallanova. Whilst the Germans, who've got a clean sheet, have lost the lead, and what they've got to make up, as you can see there, is half a minute. Half a minute, and the woman who has the responsibility on her shoulders, Katrin Apel. Katrin currently just outside the top 15 in the rankings. Magdalena Wallin making progress here, gets ahead of Annette Sikverland. So she's done well on this second leg here. And remember, both of these women were about a minute behind the leaders, and the clock still ticks away, and if anything, they've lost a bit of ground. So a fight for first and second, and another tussle here for third place on the podium. So Wallin coming in now. She's going to hand over to Susanne Stellin, and Norway represented by Hildegard Margit Fossen. And I'd expect the Norwegian to get the advantage back here, because in terms of current form, she's 12th best in the World Cup rankings, and on paper at least she should be able to move ahead of Sweden. So to see how they get on, join us in a few moments. So coming now to the second shoot in this third rotation. As you can see, coming in for Germany, Katrin Apel, followed by Russia's Nadezhda Tallaneva. So Germany having wrestled the lead back. Remember, they were behind at the last changeover, but these two women virtually together, so a mistake here could really hand the advantage. But you'd fancy on current form Katrin Apel to clean these away and get out ahead. Oh, not terribly comfortable. Tallanova beginning to get going here. Apel's now found her rhythm. But has to go in for 3 extra shots. Now, if that graphic is correct, it means that Apel cannot afford to make a mistake now. Tallanova also picking an extra bullet. Now she gets 5 out of 5. She's going to come out ahead. Apel has just got to focus here and not worry about that. Slow shooting, but she can't afford a penalty loop. The clock ticks, and so the advantage going back to the Russians. And this could be very decisive. Petra on the ankle leg. She's got that last one. But the 23-year-old German has given a decisive lead of more than 20 seconds away to the Russians. Coming up towards the time clock, which will give us a real guide of the task ahead. So Tallanova really gifted there a 20-second advantage. That's worth a single shot in its own right. She comes down the hill towards the final handover. Russia, winners in Sweden last weekend of relay number 1. There are 5 this season, and she'll be handing on to the world sprint champion, Olga Ромасько, who certainly looks like she's getting back to her world championship best. Third here yesterday on the podium in the pursuit over 10 kilometers, and the 24 points she got for that her highest in the World Cup this season. Apel coming in, the clock ticking away. Petra Biele so keen to get on her way. And Apel has at least redressed part of the damage there. She's cut the deficit by 12 seconds on Talanova, so well done, Katrin Apel. But Petra Biele now with everything to do, because at this moment, Ромасько is already sprinting away, trying to move up the hill past that chapel, the Hольменколлен chapel, which burnt down, was only reopened last spring. And the chapel which the royal family, who've got a cottage just up the hill, often visit around Christmas time. Norway, Sweden, France making a bit of progress as well. But really none of the other teams are in contention for first place. It's a two-horse fight now, two-horse race between Russia and Germany. Russians who won the Olympic gold in Lillehammer in '94, but since then the Germans, they won the World Championship both in '95 and in '96. That's the French there. Briand will be handing on to Corinne Niogre, being harried there by Hildegund Margit Fossen, and it's the French who've made good progress by virtue of good shooting. The Norwegians, Fossen made a mistake at her first visit to the range, and that's allowed the French to get on terms. And these two having a really good scrap. The Swedes have dropped back now, I'm afraid to say. Suzanne Salin, predictable that she would be overtaken by the Norwegian, but the French have also taken advantage. And at the last exchange, the Norwegians were a minute behind the first two. You can see the deficit has doubled to the third place contest. So in comes Hildegund Margit Fossen, hands on to Gun Margit Andreasen from little town not too far from Kristiansand in southern Norway, and going out for France, Corinne Niogre. And it would be really good. The French were only fifth last weekend. That was a disappointing performance. So far, they really haven't clicked, either as a team or indeed individually. So, Russia, 6.4 kilometers. Remember, we've got two visits to the range. Germany's Petra Biele. Petra, fourth in the World Cup rankings. Had a victory. First race of the new World Cup season, the 7.5 sprint in Lillehammer. She stood on the podium then. Since then, her form's just tailed off, but she's got points in all the races, so I wouldn't really be too critical. Corinne Niogre for France. A lot of responsibility on her shoulders now. French, who were Olympic champions in '92 on home snow at Les Saisies. What a time for them. That was really the height of their power in 1992. Timed it to perfection. French women's team really emerging. More recently, though, in the last two World Championships, they've had to accept second place behind Germany. But they have held off the Russians, the Norwegians. But just at the moment, France not the force that it was. So Russia, Olga Ромасько coming in towards the finish now. No mistakes on the range for the world sprint champion. Looking pretty comfortable. An hour 32 in Östersund, although of course the courses are not the same. Ромасько very happy to stand on the top of the podium. The relay score stands 2-0 to Germany and to Russia ahead of Germany. Here comes Petra Biele. There's nothing she could do about this. Remember, Kатрин Апель, when she handed over, gave her a 12-second deficit. As it is, Ромасько has comfortably held her off. So relay number 2 of the season going to the Russian quartet, represented this time by Mельник, Kуклева, Tallanova and Ромасько. Very, very happy with their morning's work, and right they are to be so. Not so much, actually. The Germans can take some consolation. They were 58 seconds behind Russia in Sweden. They've cut that to less than 20. The big disappointment, though, the teams that are chasing in behind, the gap in Sweden was 1.5 minutes to Norway, and it's a lot bigger now. France were just over 3 minutes off the pace, and here are the Norwegians. You can see there they've got 1,100 meters to go, and they're, well, technically the deficit is now twice as big as it was in Sweden. French there in, I think, 4th place. Norwegians didn't win a relay last year. The closest they got was right at the end of the season when they were second to France, who won the last two World Cup relays of last season. So a better position today, but the time all important. Russia and Germany appearing to be in their own league at the moment, and the rest playing for bronze. And Nia Gray disappears out of distance. We're waiting now. Here she is for good Margaret Andreasen. Andreasen, who's been making progress. Third in Östersund in the sprint. Like today, over 7.5 kilometers. And then picked up a 6th place last Thursday in the sprint here in Hольmenkollen, and another 18 points for finishing 8th yesterday morning in the pursuit. So really coming back to good form, for the form that gave her, along with her Norwegian teammates, a gold medal in the 95 Worlds in the team event. But this is eternity behind the first two shooting mistakes. Well, even if you were generous and say they were responsible for a minute of the lost time, it'd still be more than 2.5 off the pace. And that's a big disappointment. Well, they don't seem too unhappy, but they've got to work it out now. All the rest of the teams, what on earth do they do to catch the front two? France, no problems really on the range, some extra bullets taken, but they move up from 5th last weekend to 4th in the relay, but 3:52 again. That's much slower than 7 days ago. So, a good morning by the Russian and German quartet, who had a ding-dong battle, Germany leading, Russia taking over on the 2nd rotation, and then Germany getting back ahead, but finally, with Kатрин Апель's slow shooting, Tallanova taking the advantage, and Ромасько holding on the final rotation to give Russia their 2nd victory of the season in relays. Germany settled for 2nd place, but they were a little bit closer behind, and in 3rd place Norway for the 2nd weekend in succession. Still to come though, live action, the men's relay coming up very shortly.